Hi everyone, the official pro version of my Low Poly Kpack for KitOps has been released, and I thought some of you might be interested to follow along or just watch me trying to create a scene with my inserts and objects. So today I'm going to try to do a desert scene, and when you assign it to a blank environment, you can see that it's pretty big. So it's all the terrains are about 200 by 200 meters. So make sure your camera view and environmental view are properly aligned to that. So we've got this desert scene, we've got a pyramid in there. We could get rid of it, but I think it looks quite nice, and let's stick with it. So quick look at rendered view, that's fine. So make sure you have converted the insert, the terrain insert, to mesh. This is something that KitOps does. And then the next things I always do is find the first camera angle where I want to get back to every time. So that looks quite good. And the first thing I do is to get some trees in there. So as I said, convert to mesh and go to the trees. So this is a desert scene. We could put anything in here, but let's be realistic for low poly and go with palm trees and some of these more deserty themes. Plants. So just align the perspective, click assign inset. So what you can see is with auto scale, you've got the three main settings with small, medium and large. And so small works quite well. I hold the shift key and I can place as many inserts as I want. Before I do too many, I usually go back and rotate, scale them up a little bit so it's not always the same object and we get some variety and diversity with the same object. So just scale it up, change the rotation, maybe move it a little bit into the ground. That one is good, that's fine, okay. So the next thing we're going to do is take one of these strange but still desert themed trees in here. So let's go in the middle. I've got a pretty plain plane in here, so they align properly. So I take a couple of those, scale them down and move them to the side. Oops, that was the terrain. Then move them into perspective as I think it would fit. Yeah, something like that. Rotate, maybe move it down a little bit, change the rotation. Yeah, that looks good. Do the same thing on the other side. No, wrong shortcut. And move it to the left. Okay. So we've got a sort of trees lining an invisible road. Get some of the palm trees in, find the right scale. Yeah, I'm actually going to change the scale from the medium tab. So anytime I use that, it will have the right size. Again, put a couple of them in. That's good. And do the same thing as before. So we're going to scale, rotate, and position. That's what it is. And that is what this Kpack actually provides you with. You're more focused on making a great scene than in modeling the low poly models. So, okay. That looks quite good. But now we've got a focus point with the pyramid, and I think we should get something in of more interest. So let's just change the camera perspective like this. Yeah, I think move it up a little bit. And the next thing I'm going to do is put in some rocks. I like that rock a lot. It's okay that it's too big. I can scale it down like so, put it on the side so I know exactly where my render then will be. Position it, rotate it. So it's a lot of, some would say trial and error. I would call it experimenting and just trying out how different sizes and scales and objects interact with each other to then make up a nice scene. Oh, that's pretty big. So let's bring one up to the pyramid, one here at the base of the tree. Maybe one over here and one there. Just make it, scale it down and take a look. Yes, that's coming along nicely. Not wanting to spoil the whole surprise of the scene. Let's do some grass. I don't think there's a lot of really good and fitting desert grasses in there, but I think that will suffice. Again, I'm getting the right size, and then with shift clicking I move my grass objects around the scene where it could make sense. I will then go back and you got it. We're going to rotate and scale and position the grass as well to make it more appealing. So we've got this. As I said, just move it down a little bit. That looks fine. What else? So this is a preview, a sneak preview of the upcoming pack, which I don't want to talk too much about, but you can already see what it entails. And yeah, I'm very excited about that. I think the models look gorgeous, and let's just take this Sphinx and make it sunk into the desert sand, maybe a little bit more like this, right? These models are all UV unwrapped, but they come with just a very simple, mildly shining gray texture, so you can put any texture you want. If you've got marble or rocks or brick, whatever you want, you can then make those models your own. The only thing I can tell you is that the higher quality and intricate the textures are you're going to put on them, the less low poly they look. And yes, there will be another pack with people and animals for all of those that pause at this moment and take a look at my assets. So yes, this is something you can expect to see quite soon. So I think that makes up a nice scene. Now what we're going to do is put some of those twiggly cloud and wind symbols in here. They're applied with emission texture, so they stand out in front of any cloud or sky texture you're using. I'm actually using Blender Guru's Pro Lightning Skies HDRIs, but you can use any HDRI you can get from Texture Haven or HDRI site of your choice. So maybe do a very cartoony sort of sun and cloud in there. I think the cloud is not fitting with the ones we chose before, so just click auto, choose insert and get rid of the part of the object you don't like. Yes, that looks quite nice. I usually like to crop my rendered view to the camera view. Control B for anyone who doesn't know about this. And I think this is too empty of a spot, so put a big boulder in there, rotate, find a nice position for it. Yes, that looks good. Maybe, and then move it into the sand a little bit up. Yeah, that looks good. And what else can we do? Yeah, just of course make it a little bit realistic, get some of these thistle thingies in here as well, so we've got a bit of color and flowers into a desert scene as well. I go back to the textured and not the rendered view, so I can easily or more easily assign and position my inserts, like here. Yep, and then one there. That looks about right. And then we're taking a closer look. Yes, that looks fine. Yeah, just move the sunlight, the HDRI, the way you think it looks nice. Yeah, that's fine, but I know that the sun is coming from the left upper corner, so we eventually will have to change the lighting. So what else? Yeah, boulders are always good. Let's take another one, put it in here. Okay, that's, although I like the long shadows, put one here, here. I've got a really crappy PC, so working in rendered mode is not really the best way of doing this, but as I said, this is more follow along or watch me fumble through a scene creation, so you can jump at the end of this video if you want to see how the final render looks like. Okay, now playing with the lights again. Exactly, that's there. That's where the light should be. So we could have now a little bit more to the right. And that looks about right. So we've got the long shadows of the trees. We've got our walker model. We've got the Sphinx all properly lined up. Maybe there's a little bit too much. Yeah, we could break up the cluster of the trees and just move it around a bit. So what I'm doing now is more or less fine-tuning a very quickly put together scene. And you can see we're now at 14 minutes, quarter of an hour, and we have a scene. So here is the rendering, and I don't know about you guys, but I think for first render with some fine-tuning still to do, I think that looks pretty nice. And I'm going to show you my final edit. So I just took some other trees, changed it, put some broken columns in there, a couple of trees over there, and positioned the light correctly. And that's that. That is our Low Poly Kpack for KitOps scene in the desert. I hope you like it, and check out my stores, check out things I do, and see you the next time. Thanks for watching.